And by the center, quick mark.
Allow me the pleasure to present to you the Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Sihle Zikalala. Mkuze. Okay. The Honorable Khoza. Ngiyakuzwa Mkhathini.
Thank you Somlomo ngibonge ngibingelele undunankulu namalunga onke eParliament ngisukuma ngesigatshana somthetho urule 57B okuyi question of privilege. Cha thula nje uzolalela. Sorry u57B Somlomo, under normal circumstances, we have a situation where isilo kuba isona esivula usuku lokuqala lwesishamthetho ngale ukuthi kukhulume undunankulu. Njengoba ngisho ngithi it's a question of privilege. Uma uSomlomo angasithatha into confidence and take this house into confidence ukuthi ingani lendlu ingavulwanga isilo njengokwejwayelekile minyaka lonke ngoba from where we stand we have a king kulesifundazwe. Ngiyabonga Somlomo. Thank you.
I am sorry, Honorable Premier, that we have to disrupt you. I hope you will indulge us, Khuzeni, and the administration will provide a seat so that whilst we are dealing with this legal housekeeping matter from the economic freedom fighters, the Premier is not made to stand. The honorable member of the EFF that has raised is a leader of the EFF. The matter, Honorable Chief Whip, you are rising? Okay. Bengithi Chief Whip mangisesengiqede ngibese ngiyakudedela nqamalala. You are out of order, Honorable Vusi Khoza. You are out of order, Honorable Vusi Khoza. Bengithi Chief Whip mangisesengiqede so that ngoba bekuyi point of order. Because he used a rule on the point of order. And I want to respond to that.
Honorable Speaker, I'm rising on
Bengithi nqamalala if uzane point of order.
Rule 8, which is a point of order, not a point of privilege.
Bengithi nqamalala, let me first deal with that matter because
Okay, that's fine.
the Chief Whip of the official opposition and Honorable Zwakele Mncwango have no business standing whilst the other member is still standing up. That is why I am attending to the matter that was being raised by the Chief Whip, that he might allow me because ngiyavuma Honorable Gwala akudlulwa ngendlu yakhiwa kodwa ke bengingekamenezi. The Honorable Member Mkhathini is a member of the EFF and is the leader of the EFF, was part of the party leaders meeting that sat on the morning of the 16th of February 2022 that took a decision so that the sitting is in this particular fashion. The economic freedom fighters are also members of the program committee. When we were in that meeting, we spoke to the matters that have led us to be where we are, and the EFF was present. I want to bring it to you, to your confidence, that I am just implementing what we have discussed in that meeting. which is necessitated by the legislation that governs the final coronation, starting with gazetting, certification, and coronation of traditional leaders in South Africa. It is Act number 3 of 2019. That is what you and your party were part when we discussed on the 16th of February. That I am indulging you because you raised it as a point of privilege. Otherwise, I shouldn't have attended to you, Honorable Mkhatshini. Ngiyabonga. Now, we are calling upon the Premier to present. What are you raising on, Honorable Mwango?
Thank you. Thank you,
Are
Honorable.
you rising on?
I'm rising on Rule 57.
Hold it then, hold it, hold it. Hold it, hold it, and take your seat. Hold it and take your seat. Thank you. The Chief Whip, you were rising on a point of order. We are listening to you. What is your order, sir? Look, honorable members, I know we haven't seen each other in ages and you haven't been seen by people. May you allow the presidium to preside. We know when to call for what rule. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I was rising on Rule 80, which is a point of order. Firstly, because the member was quoting a wrong rule. But now that you have allowed him to speak, as the ANC, we are moving for a motion that the member was misleading the House deliberately, so, and that must be investigated.
We will deal with that after we have consulted the rules and exhausted that point. Honorable Mwango, what are you raising on in Rule 57?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Chief Whip is misleading, reading a wrong rule.
That is what you were raising on?
No. Speaker,
Go to your point.
I'm rising on Rule 57(1)A.
Okay.
I'm requesting hearing aids for members who need interpretation. If
Thank
can
you.
provided.
Honorable Mwango, thank you. Secretary and proceedings. Kuthiwa kukhona abazomane bengasiva ubasithini bengicabanga ukuthi ke balungiselelwe. Uma ngaba kukhona ilunga elingekafiki kulo into yokulalela ngicela liphakamise nje isandla li-indicate so that ilethwe kuyona Honorable members, I am reminded by admin that we haven't done the photo session. We have discussed it with the Deputy Speaker. We will do the photo session at the end. We are giving the Premier to take the podium.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, Speaker of the Province of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Ms. N. Boys, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Mr. R.T. Mthembu, the Leader of Government Business, Mrs. N. Dube, members of the Executive Council who are with us today, Indlunkulu yonke kaZulu, Ndlunkulu sibingelele, the Deputy Chairperson of the House of Traditional Leaders in KwaZulu-Natal, Nkosi yasemathini siyabingelela. Members of the Diplomatic Corps who are present here today, the Chair of Chairs and the Deputy Chair of Chairs, the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, party leaders who are here today, especially the leader of the African National Congress, Nopala Ntumsentuli, the leader of the official opposition in this house, and the leader of the IFP, Bulawayo, the whippery as a whole, the Secretary of the Legislature, Ms. Naidu, the Director General of our province, Dr. Mkuze, heads of department, the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Mkuze, the Deputy Chief Justice, Justice Matondo, the mayors who are with us, especially the host mayor, Mayor Tibola, the mayor of the city of eThekwini, Honorable Councillor Kaunda, members of the media, members of this house, various leaders of our social partners who work with us in strategic platforms and programs, including the religious leaders who are here. May I take this opportunity to greet leaders of the KwaZulu-Natal Christian Council, led by Bishop Zondi. But let me take also this opportunity to greet my spiritual father and leader, the President of Maranatha Church, Baba Ntombela. May I take this opportunity to greet and acknowledge the presence of the business sector, led by the chairperson of the KZN Growth Coalition, Baba Moses Tembe, all colleagues, compatriots who are with us here today. Honorable Speaker, we meet in the midterm of the 6th administration. The resilient and courageous people of KwaZulu-Natal are at a turning point. This is our decisive moment to turn the corner, to build on our resilience, forge lasting peace, create job opportunities, and usher in a sustainable growth. After 2.5 testing years, we found ourselves at a fork in the road. We must choose determination over hesitancy and hope over fear to steer our province to a better and a brighter future. Our province has undergone experiences we could not have imagined at the start of this term. Chief among these have been the deadly and the devastating impact of coronavirus, which has laid bare the structural challenges of inequality, poverty, and unemployment, which also has a race and a gender bias in the country of South Africa. COVID-19 has claimed the lives of almost 100,000 South African and worsened unemployment as a number of companies had to close down. Scientific advice is that vaccination is the best solution to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Vaccination is an individual and a collective duty in this critical time. Vaccine hesitancy has held us back from getting our life back to normal. As we rode through the unprecedented turmoil visited upon by the COVID-19, the sun set in the middle of the day when on the 12th of March 2021, news reached the nation of the passing of His Majesty, King Zwelithini Kabhekuzulu, after close to 50 years on the throne. May we take this opportunity to once again respect our departed King by saluting in a manner and in accordance with the tradition. I will request those of us besilisa basukume sihloniphe ungangezwi lakhe obehlale nathi esupporta ngaso sonke isikhathi. Wena wendlovu, wena wendlovu, bayede. Thank you, honorable members. Our nation and the province were shattered. Barely a month later, we were again shaken by the passing of the regent, Queen Mantombi Dlamini Zulu. As we recall our collective grief, we console ourselves that the spirit of our king, Umdlogombane, and all departed Zulu kings and queens continues to watch us over our nation. We pray for healing, peace, and endurance, unity among our royal house and the nation. Madam Speaker, we are honored to be graced by the presence on this auspicious occasion of the members of the royal family. While we battled the effort of COVID-19, our province is yet to recover from the destruction and the death of the July unrest. We must do more to heal our province, reconcile our communities, and get justice for the victims of the Phoenix massacre. At the same time, we must draw our collective goodwill of all the people of the province to turn the corner toward a KwaZulu-Natal that is truly united and at peace with itself. The work to heal our nation and our communities from the scars of both COVID-19 and the July unrest will intensify in this year, the year 2022. We wish to remember the over 300 members who died during the July unrest and the many thousands whose lives were cut short by COVID-19. At the same time, we wish to remember all of those who passed on during this time and in a period leading to this event. Among those is Riki, who passed on, and we remember him for his contribution in the music industry in our country. Notwithstanding our hardship, together we will prevail and advance development. As the poet W.M. Gillard captures the uncertainty that recently gripped the country when he say, as I reflect, our vision is dim, we are tired, and long for ease. We neglect our vital spark, that burning love for freedom, which once lit our blackest night, and now we fumble, confused and fearful, hearing our foundations crumble, close quote. We dare not let our foundation as KwaZulu-Natal crumble. Our task is to recover and discover our vital spike and the burning love for freedom. This is a freedom. Inkululeko yabantu basezweni lethu. Inkululeko esingayitholanga mahala, kodwa inkululeko eyalwelwa. Noma besibhekene nesikhathi esinzima, kodwa ngeke sabalisa, ngeke sabuka imumva. Okwethu namuhla ukwakha kabusha lesizwe siqhubekele phambili. Honorable members, we must approach the year ahead with renewed hope and optimism. We have together ridden the wave and the most difficult storms. Learning from our experience, we must set our compass to conquer the high seas of jobs, unemployment, and create more jobs, ensure economic recovery, fight against crime, ensure water provision, building a capable and incorruptible government. We wish to take this opportunity and pay tribute to the people of KwaZulu-Natal who in their numbers took their time to make contribution to the 2022 State of the Province Address. Among them is Mrs. Zilungile Mkuze from Mkuze, who has related the challenge faced by her community in Mfulamhle. Mrs. Mkuze, in response to your concern, we wish to assure you that the next Operation Sukuma Sake, which will take place in Erigwala, will among others be dedicated to address all issues of Mfulamhle. Mkuze, sisendleleni ukuzobheka izinkinga zamanzi nemgwaqo namathuba emsebenzi okhulume ngakho. We will meet you and the community of Mfulamhle there to tackle all of these challenges. We appreciate the contribution by Patrick Belebesi, a young person who gave us his views about youth unemployment. We trust that as you listen to this address, you will hear about the opportunities that we will present to benefit you and many other young people of our province. We are already attending to the cries of the people of Nhlazuka, where people, especially students, have to cross the river on a makeshift bridge. As mfowethu uDr. Ngcobo Fuze uzwakalisile isikhalo sakhe nesomphakathi, siyal-attenda lolu daba lwalapha eNhlazuka. I-department yakwa-education already isiyile khona. Ngonjalo, i-department yakwa-transport is attending Ndlunkulu kudaba lwe-bridge elakhiwe laphansi, lakhiwa kudala. Laphansi, uma kufika imvula, zihamba ngaphezulu, abantwana kube lukhuni ukuthi bawele. Siwutholile umyalezo Ndlunkulu, sizokulungisa ngokusheshsha. Honorable members, siyafisa uqinisekisa ukuthi umnyango wezokuthutha usuthathe isinqumo ngaphansi ka-MEC Nkonyeni wokuthi sizowabheka wonke lama bridge ayakhiwe akhelwa phansi eminyakeni edlule ngoba impilo zabantu abamnyama kwangaqatshangwa ukuthi kumele ithuthuke ngaleyo ndlela. So wonke lawo ma bridge umnyango uthatha isinqumo sokuthi uzowalungisa abe phezulu, abe sesimeni songade kudluka kumbe kudlula amanzi abe maningi, kube ama bridge asebenza futhi asesimeni esikahle. Madam Speaker, at the beginning of this 6th administration, after the 2019 general elections, we identified 8 priorities for our province. To remind ourselves, these are the priorities: the provision of water, of basic services, especially water, the creation of jobs, the growing the economy, growing SMMEs and cooperatives, leading education and skills development, human settlement and sustainable livelihood, building a peaceful province, build a caring and incorruptible government. There is an urgency to decisively address unemployment rate, particularly among the youth, women, and vulnerable groups. We must turn the corner to narrow the gap of race and gender-based inequality and poverty. Ours is a vision based on the aspirations of the Freedom Charter, the Reconstruction and Development Plan, the National Development Plan, which is the Vision 2030, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the AU Africa, the AU Agenda 2063, and our own KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. Our province is unambiguous about radical economic transformation and the need to level the playing field by bringing back or bringing blacks, especially Africans, into the mainstream economy. We must therefore turn the corner to deliver basic services better and faster. Honorable members, as part of our response to COVID-19, we managed to mount a formidable and highly effective response to the pandemic. These include the reconfiguration of hospitals such as Doris Goodwin, Richmond, Claywood, Dundee, St. Francis, Bethesda, Wentworth, J.C. Crook, and other hospitals on time. We're able to establish 4 field hospitals, mainly Claywood.
Honorable Premier and the House, I am sorry, Honorable Premier. There is an unforeseen eventuality that I am now made to deal with. I want to invoke Rule 3.1 to request the Premier to pause. There's some unforeseen eventuality that I have to deal with now. I am sorry, Honorable Premier.
Oh, Nawanjo! Oh, Nawanjo! Oh, Nawanjo! Papa Pandagamzi, Tabaga Lalele, Memesayo, Memesanga Tuyakalila, Oti Kulaliga Chamatikagile, Kitang Lendala, Yagi Tomalandela, Ubesibin Puteles. Hakutaza umdakanda bamthuka bemxabafula bathi zolithini kakusa bathi kakwankosi bathi bangoba kuthempepho yakithi amalandela usodidase inkonyane encane kandaba edidimbala umphikelelo wensizwa phelela amadoda amanye esephelelwe ngamandla umapheko phela ebalonga insizwa esinikinikana ingapendele zingwe nobe ingonyama gijime ngandelande ebangaluzitu yadwa Tata, Mandebele, no Mandebele, Sena Kukantelile, and then Abonisiane, Leslos Kandaba, Ostampe Zanta, Amakana Matota, Parting Ona, Samanela, Beva, Qualifuda, Temfule Esom Mkuze, Neso Tugela, Nani Mokundani, Atale Kotani, Panongo, Oh Nawando, Ayate.
Wena wendlovu bayede.
Honorable Premier and the House, I take this opportunity to thank the House for allowing me to invoke Rule 3.1 without prior notice, and to you, Honorable Premier, for indulging us. Siyabonga Mkuze, you may proceed.
Bayede and indlunkulu esisijoyinile. As I was alluding, we had to adopt quick and fast response to COVID-19. We repurpose and establish field hospitals, the Claywood, the Royal Agricultural Show, the General Kizenga Mpanza, and Dingwelezane. We achieved this in a matter of months. We commend the department under MEC Smelane, and the HOD and all others for this work. We will not be going back to old days of doing things, of operating in silos. Learning from the disaster of COVID-19, we will implement in a coordinated manner, avoid fragmentation and mismanagement, as well as misalignment in planning. We will accelerate the adoption of the latest technology and speed up the digitalization of services. In this regard, we call on all municipalities to complete the establishment of the DDM structures so that they will achieve one budget, one plan, which will then be informed by the support of all departments. The administration we want should be driven by high level of performance, measurable and impactful in changing the lives of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. It is against this background that our focal areas for this 2022 State of the Province Address will be to fasten and prioritize key areas. And these areas are economic recovery and creation of jobs, improving access to water and sanitation, fight crime and building safer communities, social protection and human development, building a capable state, building a better Africa and a better world. Madam Speaker, we deliver this State of the Province Address against the unfolding challenges of our economic growth as worsened by the crisis we have outlined above. Our unemployment rate has now risen to 28.7 from about 23% before the pandemic. The increase in discouraged work seekers continues to add to the figures on a regular basis. Our country's economic structure is the primary cause of this situation, the persistent low levels of economic productivity and a low rate that is driven by a high input cost. Our economy is sadly with corporate corruption, failure of companies to invest in self-development, lack of sustainable energy generation, instability created by criminal activities of some business forum. All this has been worsened by the lockdown intended to keep citizens safe from COVID-19. To change the status quo, we need major economic reforms anchored on radical economic transformation and greater participation of all people, in particular the blacks in general and Africans in particular, in the mainstream economy of the province. Honorable members, our setback that we have experienced is the closure of the Marathon South Africa, which was launched at the Dubai Trade Port in 2019. The company had pledged to invest 1.5 billion and to create 736 jobs in KwaZulu-Natal. Marathon's production commenced in October 2019, but was disrupted in the early part of 2020 owing to COVID-19 pandemic and the hard lockdown. Consequently, the production volumes were impacted and were below target. The Industrial Development Corporation is now undertaking a study to ensure that this company is rescued, and it has already put under the rescue plan. We are disappointed by the decision of SAPREF to indefinitely suspend refinery operations in Durban by the end of March 2022. The announcement came not as long after the engine refinery announced a similar decision regarding their operations in Durban. We are of a view that retaining refinery, especially the operations of refineries in our province, is key for economic growth and job creation rather than solely relying on importing refined oil. For that reason, we have called on the national government to buy SAPREF, not only to protect jobs, but to build the capacity of the state. It cannot be that the country will remain dependent on foreign-owned and private conglomerates who are driven by profit motives and owe no loyalty to our developmental agenda. Madam Speaker, we wish to update the people of KwaZulu-Natal that the provincial government has already met with SAPREF, but we have also started engaging with the National Department of Mineral and Energy to work toward taking over the full operations of SAPREF as a state-owned oil company. That is in progress. While above setbacks besieged the provincial economic outlook, not all was doom and gloom on investment attraction in 2021. We are pleased to announce that through the Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal, our province attracted investment to the value of 5.3 billion with over 8,554 jobs created. Prominent among these was the Tetra Pak investment of 500 million, which added jobs from 120 at that time to 300 jobs. Will help call center investment of 500 million, which initially created 500 jobs, which will grow to over 2,000 jobs in the next 2 years. The capital BPO investment of 120 million created 500 jobs. Bletterdale Coastal Resort, worth 800 million, will be creating 2,000 jobs. The launch by His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa of Toyota South Africa's 2.6 billion investment for the production of Toyota Corolla Cross, which is a hybrid car using electricity and fuel. And this need to be applauded. The fact that Toyota continues to invest in the provincial economy. In another significant show of confidence to our economy, in May 2021, we were excited to be part of the announcement that the Pepco Group has also joined 3 other blue chip companies in the Hammarsdale precinct. Not only is the Pepco Group investing 1.5 billion, but the company is now expanding the business in the very same precinct, which worth more than $1 billion now. In addition, the Aquele Group is investing 300 million, and also Sequence Refrigerations is also making major investment as it was announced in last year when we visited the park. As recent as this week, our province received good news that the Investec property will be investing more than 6 billion to redevelop the old Coral Brick site north of Durban into a logistic and distribution hub to tap the growing demand for warehousing facilities in the province. The new logistic hub has the potential to create 16,000 jobs. Madam Speaker, to consolidate all these gains, the provincial government has already adopted the export strategy, which aims to facilitate access to the wider African market under the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. In this regard, the provincial government, together with the African Import and Export Bank, the African Union and the Secretariat for the African Continental Free Trade Area, hosted an intra-Africa trade fair in 2021 at the Nkosi Albert Luthuli International Convention Center on the 15th to the 21st of November last year. In total, 128 countries were represented in this Africa trade fair, and deals in excess of 400 million were concluded by the KZN-based companies. The province also presented deals at the African deal room to the tune of 7.8 billion. And those deals has a potential of creating 80,000 jobs. These will be examined as part of African's funding considerations. We are pleased to announce that we will be hosting the KwaZulu-Natal International Investment Conference on the 22nd to the 23rd of March. This will be a build-up to the Presidential Investment Conference, which will be held on the 24th of March. Turning to infrastructure as a key pillar of economic growth, Madam Speaker, the provincial government continues to pursue infrastructure-led development. Transport infrastructure is a catalyst for economic growth, job creation and development. We are pleased to confirm the upgrade of the national network by the Central, which is being driven on a faster pace in the province. The route from Cato Ridge to Dandelnel is estimated at about 1.6 and is already under construction. It's creating more than 1,450 jobs. The route around Linfield Park at a contract value of 15 billion is estimated to create 1,400 jobs. Other work packages are continuing as we plan. This includes the upgrade around the KwaMashu interchange. As we committed in the last SOPA, we're pleased to announce that the 14 Welisizwe bridges are now complete. Communities can now cross safely to access important services, even when there is flooding. This year, we will continue to ensure that the intervention of the Welisizwe Bailey bridges create more jobs, and we are aiming to create additional 11,000 jobs. We welcome the pronouncement in the SONA by His Excellency the President that these bridges will be built again, and they will, as a national department, support this program. In addition to these projects, through the development and the Department of Transport, we have allocated 8.7 billion for construction and maintenance of road infrastructure in the province. Of this, 4.8 billion will go to the maintenance of existing infrastructure, and 3.9 billion is allocated for construction of new projects, upgrade and other engineering work. These include infrastructure demand and damages that were caused by recent storms. Further, details to this regard will be presented by the MEC during her budget speech. turning to human settlement, which we do with an intention to restore the dignity of the people. The ANC-led government continues to prioritize housing for the most vulnerable to restore their dignity. In 2021, we announced the following programs to provide sustainable livelihood through transformed human settlement. These were Konopia Integrated Residential Development Project in eThekwini municipality, with 28,000 houses planned in phase 1, already 2,662 units have been completed, and 1,946 transfers effected to date. Construction of phase 2 will commence in June 2022. Umlazi Upgrade Regeneration Project in eThekwini, with a total of 19,160 houses have been built to date. There are 330 units in construction currently in the Umlazi Part 4 and Part 2, and the extension of Part 4. eThekwini Inner City Regeneration, with 4 social housing projects, with a total yield of 958 units, were packaged and allocated to social housing institutions in 2021-2022. A further 1,362 units from 6 social housing projects will be packaged and allocated in the year 2022-2023. The overall inner city regeneration project will realize 10,580 units. Madam Speaker, since the last SOPA, 8,578 of 11,342 fully subsidized houses were built, and the remaining and the number of 6,907 of these units were built in rural areas. And this tells you that the ANC-led government delivers in townships and in urban, even in rural areas. We are in a process of completing 2,763 houses, 355 financed for individuals that will be building for themselves, 4,016 service sites, 2,540 houses were provided with title deeds. Akukho ukuthi abantu bakithi babe nezindlu okuthiwa uzohlala kuyo iminyaka e-99 then abakulandelayo baphume. Namuhla uhulumeni ekwakhela indlu usekunika itayitela aqinisekisa ukuthi leyo ndlu ngeyakho ingunaphakade. Now, Honorable Speaker, during pre-SOPA listening campaign, we received concerns from a place called Siyahlala near Matateni Township in Newcastle. We heard your cries about armed invaders who have been unlawfully taken occupancy of your RDP houses. Within a 3-month period, the Department of Human Settlement under MEC SBIA will conduct an audit, and anyone found to have occupied a house illegally will be evicted and criminally charged. Twabantu base siyahlala la abakhishwe endlini zabo siyafisa ukubaqinisekisa ukuthi sizo acta ngokusheshsha siqinisekise ukuthi bayabuyiselwa izindlu zabo. Uhlelo lwezindlu lulekelela kakhulu ekuprovideni namathuba emisebenzi lishintshe nesimo somnotho. This year we will roll out massive projects such as Empangeni IRDP housing project, Amawoti Greater Housing, eThekwini Inner City, which is continuing, and the Bridge City housing. We are hard at work to build houses for people living on farms. We will continue to prioritize military veterans through housing development, and we have already built some houses in Alfred Duma that have been already handed over. We will continue to build houses for military veterans in areas such as Ilovu, Cobbsville, Umshwati, and Bergville. Madam Speaker, this government is a government that protects the rights and dignity of all people. We have a program to decommission all Lindela in eThekwini and other municipalities. We are proud to say that the Isipingo, Lindela, have been targeted through the current development of Nkanku Road project with an approved budget of more than 70.5 million for 360 houses. Planning have been completed. Installation of the bulk infrastructure is at 90% complete, and at least 130 houses are already at various stages of completion. This year, eThekwini municipality will decommission 5 Lindelas. In 2023, a total of 14 Lindelas will be relocated to various projects. In 2025, the remaining 26 Lindelas will be relocated, thus bringing to an end of all the 45 Lindelas that currently exist in eThekwini. Lolu uhlelo olukliye akulona uhlelo nje esikhuluma ngalo namuhla. Uma siqala le term of office sathi into esizoyibekela yona uqeda ngazo zonke izinto ezikhanda abantu bahlale endaweni engezinhle engenanhlonipho la isithunzi sabo singavikelekile. Olindela babakhelwe ukuthi abantu bahlale isikhashana mase bephuma baye endlini ezizokwakhiwa. Lolu hlelo lukliye njengamanje siseyinhlelweni eziphelele zoqinisekisa ukuthi by 2025 siqede nya ngento obizwa ngolindela KwaZulu-Natal. In our effort to quicken the tempo of job creation while protecting the poor and vulnerable, we managed since last year to create job opportunities through projects and extended public works program targeting young people, women, and the disabled. As recently as the 7th of February this year, 46,178 work opportunities and 24,288 full-time equivalent opportunities were created through the EPWP social sector in KwaZulu-Natal. In 2022-2023, 10,000 job opportunities will be created throughout the province in the housing project. 1,000 youth will be trained as artisans in bricklaying, carpentry, and plumbing. Overall, through these initiatives, we are going as the province to utilize the extended public works program going forward. But overall, we have created job opportunities amounting to 181,244 over the past year. And we have created 139,422 full-time equivalent opportunities. As part of the fight against COVID-19, a total of 365 youth were also employed in schools as screeners, cleaners, and security volunteers. Ngiyafisa ukulichaza lolu hlelo. Uhlelo lwemsebenzi yomphakathi nohlelo olufana nalolu lwe-EPWP. Uhlelo uhulumeni angenelela ekulweni nobubha. Siyaqonda ukuthi iningi labantu bakithi badinga imisebenzi epermanent, imisebenzi edecent, la bezokwazi ukuneliseka khona. Yebo siyazama futhi siyaqhubeka ukuyakha imisebenzi edecent. Kodwa kumele siqonde ukuthi i-extended public works isuke ihlose ukunikezela amakhono nokuthi abantu bakwazi ukuyiphilisa ngaleso sikhathi. At some point bagraduate ekutheni bazenzele yabo imisebenzi mhlambe bathole amanye amathuba emsebenzi. Honorable members and our special guest, as well as the people of KwaZulu-Natal, growing the economy and creating sustainable jobs remain the priority of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The two provincial special economic zones of the Dube Trade Port and the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone jointly contributed 4,499 job opportunities through construction activities associated with new investments in these two hubs. This year, the two SEZs are projected to create together a further 4,500 jobs opportunities. Infrastructure development at the provincial industrial estate, such as Madadini, Istebe, and Ezakeni, created 1,578 new job opportunities during the last year period. A further 2,660 are envisaged for this year. KwaZulu-Natal also attracted new investment of about 5.5 billion in various sectors, which created 8,875 jobs. Through regulating and enforcing compliance in the liquor sector, we have created 1,620 job opportunities. We expect an additional 2,500 jobs to be created this coming year. We are committed to radical socio-economic transformation. We remain focused on the implementation of the Black Industrialist Program to drive radical economic transformation and ensure the meaningful participation of Black people in the mainstream economy. In partnership with the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, more than 700 million have been allocated to 35 Black industrialists in the province who are active in various manufacturing sectors in the province. This program has created at least over 4,000 jobs, especially in the clothing and textile, chemicals, paper and pulp, among other sectors. The support for SMMEs is critical to economic redistribution and job creation. The provincial government has adopted Operation Vula as an overarching intervention in support of SMMEs and cooperatives by providing financial support, training, incubation, and sustainable access to market. With regard to the youth, especially KZN Youth Empowerment Fund, we are inspired by the success of young people who benefited from the KZN Youth Fund. The introduction of the Youth Business Development Fund has enabled young people to play a meaningful role in the economy of this province and the country. In the audience today, we have some of these youth beneficiaries of the KwaZulu-Natal Youth Empowerment Fund. amaZulu Trading from Herigwala is involved in the forestry industry. Through our support, the business has secured a contract with SAPI and created 40 new jobs. I'm not sure whether intsha ye amaZulu Trading bakhona na ngapha kodwa ngiyazi ukuthi enye yama entities engikholwa ukuthi iportfolio committee yawavakashela noma isaziwavakashela. Kodwa angikuchaza ukuthi uma sisebenza ndawonye sibamsene sonke siyakhula siye phambili. On one hand, you have a big company, a global company, yomhlaba, inkampani eyaziwa emhlabeni wonke, uSAPI. Ngakwelinye uhlangothi nohulumeni usupporta inkampani yabancane. Yaqhubeka isithola ngisho umsebenzi enkampanini enkulu. Siyafisa ukuyibonga nenkampani enkulu ezithatha isikhathi support inkampani ezincane. Another example is Mr. Nathi Mbele. He's a founder of AdNotes Digital, which provide Wi-Fi network in rural communities, including in the Shobashobane area. The Youth Empowerment Fund has enabled this company to expand beyond the borders of the South African Republic and have secured contract in Kenya. The company employs 55 youth, 20 of whom are female. Some of the youth beneficiaries participated in the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in 2021. This saw KTBet Pty Ltd from Ilembe district, which specializes in manufacturing and engineering, starting engagement with a Ghana-based hotel group to install industrial geysers. Their first order amounted to 2 million, and they've also successfully got a job for hot water tanks to the value of 500,000 with a Newcastle-based business. The company is owned by one of the youth in the province, Mr. Albert Mkwazi, who is one of our guests today. The RPSM Chirwa is a waste management company situated in Eskawini in King Cetshwayo district. It is owned by Samuel Siwe and Sma Chirwa. The company has been operating for over 6 years and as buyback center and is now moving into its own glass manufacturing operation. And these are young women. Honorable members and the people of KwaZulu-Natal, to support young people who want to be job creators rather than job seekers, we are pleased to announce an increase in the value of the KwaZulu-Natal Youth Empowerment Fund, the commitment from an initial 50 million in 2019 to 100 million in the financial year of 2022. We invite the private sector to this initiative in order to grow entrepreneurship, drive innovation, and job creation. We look to these entrepreneurs and their creative ideas to grow our economy and reduce inequality, unemployment, and poverty. Madam Speaker, we are also joined today by the founders of the award-winning and the women-owned cosmetic company, Get to Natural Beauty, which operate from Kwamashu, Nosihle Dlamini, and Pumelele Khumalo. They started They started their company in 2017 using their own contributions as well as funding from the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs and the Tech Transfer Fund. At the Intra-Africa Trade Fair in 2021 in Durban, the company won Africa's Next Champion Award. This gave them an opportunity to exhibit in Dubai. All the SMMEs represented today have turned the corner and are the pride of our province. They deserve a huge round of applause from all of us. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, the provincial government is determined to ensure that rural areas are not left behind in economic growth. We are proud of the Lilani Hot Spring Resort that is run by the Mthembu Sithole Development Trust under Inkosi Sithole Jobe Mondise. Lilani Hot Spring represent the potential we have for our rural economic development prospect, especially in the tourism sector. Through the Department of Tourism, the government supported the Lilani Hot Spring Resort to build hotel accommodation with an amount of 17 million. When we turn to reflect on Operation Vula Fund, since the launch of this fund, 1,016 applications worth 339.2 million were approved in various priority sectors of the economy. About 221.2 million have been dispersed to 785 small, macro, and medium enterprises. And about 117.9 million is due for disbursement to the remaining 233 businesses. We are determined to use government procurement to enhance localization and to create more job opportunities and support companies that are owned by those who are marginalized from the economy. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs is committed to open the second window of Operation Vula budget and to ensure that funds are dispersed this year and they are processed quicker. We are further committed as part of this program to allocate at least 50% to women during this second window. Somlomo, kuningi uhulumeni wethu akwenzayo, akuzamayo ukulungisa nokwenza ngcono impilo zabantu. Ngenxa yoshintsho nesimo sempilo, ukulunga kwenye indlu kuye kuthikameze kwenye indawo. Uhulumeni wethu ufokase kakhulu ekuthuthukiseni intsha, sikhandela amathuba emsebenzi, ngoba sithatha ngokuthi abasebasha baphuma ezikoleni nakwimnyango yezemfundo ephakeme, kudinga baqinisekise ukuthi bayangena emsebenzini. Kodwa lokho kumele sikwenze ngendlela engavimbeli ukuthi nalabo abangaphezulu ka35 bawathole amathuba emsebenzi. As a result, a dedicated amount will be allocated for companies owned by citizens of our province who are above 35 years. We've entered into a technical partnership with a company or an NGO from Federation of German Cooperatives to provide technical support and they have already invested 2.9 million to support technically our cooperatives, and cooperatives that are already being trained and supported 180. Pragmatic interventions to accelerate growth through social compact. And we want to be clear here. We have all a responsibility to work together. In order to successfully turn the corner, the province needs to employ decisive and pragmatic interventions that will be cemented by optimal partnership among all stakeholders. As in successful developmental state, the value of social compact lie in the ability of government to mobilize all sectors behind a common developmental agenda. Therefore, government needs to ensure that it embraces two critical attributes. One, pragmatism. Secondly, good governance. These attributes are required to speed up implementation, and we must implement within budget and within timeframes that we set for ourselves. In such a drive, social compact demands that all partners play their role with a great sense of responsiveness. As the provincial government, we will enhance and strengthen the working relations with the business, the trade union, and civil society through the KZN Economic Council and the KZN Growth Coalition. We equally expect the metro, all districts, and secondary cities to strengthen their working relations with these key social partners to fast-track economic growth, job creation, and quality service delivery to all. The Provincial Growth Coalition will meet at the beginning of March 2022, and we will continuously engage as co-chairs. It is chaired by the Premier, together with the co-chair, Mr. Tembe, from the side of business. At the same time, the KZN Economic Council will meet quarterly without fail under the stewardship of the MEC Pillay. The government will further upscale the implementation of key developmental programs through the introduction of a framework that ensures quarterly progress assessment of all catalytic projects, major government projects, and dedicated assessment will be done on all major government projects, as well as the support to the private sector. The provincial government have been working on upscaling interventions aimed at dealing with the lawbreakers who extort businesses under the pretext of business forum. We applaud the decisive interventions by the police, which led to the arrest of those who were invading the construction site of the Durban High Court. There are other arrests that have taken place previously, and we applaud the police for that. We send a stern warning to those contemplating such criminal activity that this government has drawn a line in the sand against economic sabotage and similar crimes. We are going to be harsh against anyone who disrupt business and try to extort from business people. We support the establishment of the specialized multidisciplinary unit to end extortion at the construction sites and vandalism of infrastructure as announced by the President in the SONA. We cannot allow this crime, which sabotage our economy, stall projects, chase away investors, and cost our people jobs. We will also engage municipalities to take an uncompromising stance against those involved in extortion an invasion of businesses. We've noticed that because of fear, some in the private sector have been succumbing to these criminal elements. It therefore compels us to put in a staying mechanism to uproot these syndicates. We have to build trust between government, the private sector, and communities. With regard to state-led strategic infrastructure for economic growth, we will want, Madam Speaker, to reflect on port expansion as the major investment in KwaZulu-Natal. The provincial government remains focused on the realization of port development to ensure ease of doing business, free flow of cargo, global competitiveness, and expanding port capacity. Following from our engagement with Transnet as the Executive Council, we can confirm that Transnet National Port Authority is forging ahead with the finalization of KwaZulu-Natal Port Master Plan, which seeks to position the Port of Durban as a container hub port and the Richards Bay as a dry bulk and liquefied natural gas hub. The high-speed commuter train linking Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal remain on the agenda of the National Department of Transport. This project aligns with the aspiration and the vision of KwaZulu-Natal rural development and socio-economic growth. The Transnet Port Master Plan includes the already approved Cato Ridge Dry Port, and this is now receiving a dedicated focus as part of easing congestion to the port. This groundbreaking expansion program will not only contribute to the country's economic reconstruction and recovery plan to support growth of the country, but will see Transnet SOC Limited to enter into partnership with the private sector through an aggressive funding strategy. Notable achievement and announcement made already include the following: the completion of the KwaZulu-Natal cruise terminal within the port of Durban in November 2021, which will contribute immensely to the tourism sector. The request for quotations for Durban Container Terminal Pier 2 Container Terminal. The request for information and the expression of interest for the Port Container Terminal. The request for information and expression of interest for a gas terminal development in Richards Bay. The land claim settlement agreement between the community and Transnet in Richards Bay, which has been finally concluded and will come into effect in April of 2022. With us are clear that there is a clear program to ensure that Durban Port and Richards Bay Port develop quicker to ensure that they compete globally. We are going to continue enhancing energy generation capacity. One area that has been stifling our economic prospect is the persistent energy shortage resulting from load shedding. We are taking various steps to secure energy supply. The province has already positioned itself for alternative energy generation. In this regard, the Executive Council has constituted a team to work on alternative energy generation, including supporting municipalities to fast-track energy generation. The task team is led by MEC for ATIA and include MEC for Transport, MEC for COGTA, MEC for Human Settlement and Public Works. The task team will provide quarterly report to to the Executive Council. The Department of Mineral and Energy has already approved the appointment of professional service providers to undertake a study to develop the Provincial Integrated Electrification Master Plan within KZN. The master plan enables municipalities to generate their own energy. eThekwini and Umsunduze are already piloting this as part of the energy plan. Having examined all forms of energy generation, the provincial government will launch a feasibility study on the green hydrogen electricity. The strategic position of the province, together with its weather inclination, provide greater potential for green hydro energy. The abundance of sugarcane gives the province a competitive edge to become a leader in biofuel, especially ethanol for blended energy solution. This is critical in the light of the escalation of fossil fuel prices and the demand for low carbon sources. Thus, we have resuscitated the engagement with the Minister of Minerals and Energy on expediting the bill on bioethanol. The engagement with Transnet on ensuring that Richards Bay become a gas and oil hub for the country is bearing fruits. Transnet has already issued the first call for expression of interest for companies to generate gas in Richards Bay. Accordingly, this should not be the only gas-to-energy project, but a few more should be explored as the initial agreement was to host 2,000 gas megawatts in Richards Bay. With regard to connectivity, we have come to appreciate that the time frame to expedite broadband rollout cannot be extended any further. Accordingly, a provincial ICT indaba comprising all industry stakeholders will be hosted in partnership with the Office of the Premier during the first quarter of the year 2022. The objective is to emerge with a holistic solution to the ICT challenge that provides the province with the capacity to ensure connectivity even in rural areas. We will additionally develop a strategy to deploy KZN Broadband, Fourth Industrial Revolution services, and related ICT services, and build a smart province. With regard to key sectors of the economy, Madam Speaker, the automotive sector plays a leading role in providing decent jobs in the province. The Dube Trade Port is leading effort for the establishment of the automotive supply park in Durban. The first phase of this project is to be developed at the old international airport site, which is now called the Durban Logistic Hub. We expect the park to be operational by the end of 2023. It was pleasing to note that Toyota South Africa invested more than 2 billion in the building of Colora Cross, the first hybrid car to be produced in Durban. This was a demonstration of investor confidence in KwaZulu-Natal and South Africa as a preferred destination for foreign direct and domestic investment. We witnessed the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone launching the Nyaza light metal investment worth 4.5 billion to produce titanium dioxide and other co-products such as aluminium and others. Nyanza operation will produce 80,000 tons per annum. and this is one of those that will be used in paint, plastic, cosmetic, and other services. Wilma Oil started the construction of a 1.3 billion plant that will produce edible oils. The facility will be operational by the end of this year. As part of value addition, this facility will provide farmers with a sustainable market to supply soya beans. Madam Speaker, with regard to establishment of agri-hubs, His Majesty King Zwelithini always reminded us that umhlaba ungubaba nomama wethu, futhi ilona golide lethu lapha KwaZulu-Natal. Clearly, there is a need to consider an increase in the budget allocation to the Department of Agriculture, given, I'm sure that all of those who aspire for the development of this province will do the same and commend, applaud when we call for the increase of the budget of agriculture, given its strategic role in the province. Given its potential in accelerating economic growth, creating jobs, and improving food security, as announced last year, we have identified the sites where these agri-hubs are going to be developed. These sites have been approved by relevant authorities subject to additional studies such as geotech, environmental impact assessment, and valuation of properties. The Red Meat Hub is going to be located in Zululand district, while the wool, skin, and heat treatment facility will be located in Uthukela district. The White Meat Hub will be on the border of eThekwini and Umgungundlovu district. The Dairy Hub will be in Erigwala district municipality. The Fresh Produce Hub will be in King Cetshwayo, and as well as the Grain Hub will be in amaZulu. All agri-hub business plans have been developed, including designs, and these plans have been submitted to some funding institutions which have already expressed their appetite to partner with the provincial government on implementation. Madam Speaker, the Radical Agrarian and Socio-Economic Transformation Initiative remain a far-reaching program that seeks to transform the structure of agriculture value chain. Through RASET, we seek to transform the agriculture sector effectively and to introduce black farmers in the value addition in this sector. Already RASET has changed the fortunes of about 608 small-scale farmers, the majority of whom are females. These female farmers were assisted with market access that realize the production value of about 34 million. Through the RASET program, these farmers secured 24 private market, 3 government market, and in the process created 595 jobs in rural areas. One key industry that will grow the economy fast is the cannabis industry. The exploration of the cannabis industry has stimulated hope among many who have always viewed this as a critical sector for economic growth. As we were reminded by the President, His Excellency President Ramaphosa, that KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape are the leading provinces that are geared to take advantage of this booming and growing cannabis industry. Through the Moses Kotane Institute, the province has since produced a comprehensive study on the green rush. This is to guide our intervention as government, including making substantial hectares of land available for cannabis production. This year, we will fast-track the implementation of the Cannabis Master Plan, the MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, as well as the MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, will elaborate further in their forthcoming budget speeches. But esifuna ukugcizelela, i-cannabis industry kumele siqinisekise ukuthi ibenefita bonke abantu, isikakhulukazi abantu basemakhaya. As a result of that, sizibekele izinto ezimbili okudinga sizenze kulonyaka ka-2022. Eyokuqala, ukuthola ilungelo for abantu basemakhaya, ukutshala i-cannabis bengaphazamiseki. Okwesibili, ukuvula i-process yokwazi ukuthola ama-licenses for production, and leyo process kumele ivulelwe including abantu abamnyama ukuze i-production ingabi sezandleni zabambalwa. Madam Speaker, the SEZ on clothing and textile is still in our plan. One of the negative impacts of the pandemic was the disruption of our plans to launch this strategic textile and leather SEZ in the province. As announced in our SOPA last year, we remain committed to the establishment of the clothing and textile SEZ in Newcastle and Ladysmith corridor. This plan is gonna get more attention this year. We are pleased to report that KwaZulu-Natal has developed a comprehensive strategy on rural and township economies. Among others, the strategy seeks to ensure long money circulation in townships and rural areas, and to commit government to set aside specific township and rural budget. The township and rural economy revitalization strategy encompasses small town development, village, informal sector in the townships, semi-urban, and in our rural areas. The strategy is anchored on the development of light industries, which include bakery, clothing, fashion design, digitant, and chemical manufacturing, bulk buying, and warehousing, with the aim of reducing input cost for SMMEs. And in this regard, we will take a tour, have road shows from township to township, enlightening people on this rural and township economy and the implementation, especially around issues of bakery, digitant and cleaning chemicals, the bulk buying. All of that will be the programs that benefit the province as a whole. The strategy encourages the reimagining of township and rural economies as vibrant places in which to live and to develop sustainable economies that promote full employment and reduction of inequality. To support rural and township tourism development and growth, the implementation of the strategy will be linked with community tourism organization for route development. Further details on growing the rural and township economy will be provided by MEC for Etia during his budget vote. In our quest to create jobs for the growing number of unemployment among the youth, the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Government has packaged various mass employment programs. We have identified the following sectors for this initiative: youth in agriculture, in engaging youth in key programs such as high-value horticulture, harvesting, deep tank management, livestock rangers, and multi-planting season. The second is environmental rehabilitation, which will focus on management and cleaning our seas and all beaches, rivers and dam management, recycling, tree planting, and waste-to-energy initiatives that are being considered. We have already created around 11,000 employment opportunities, and we will want to ramp up this program to employ at least 20,000 this year. Youth in policing. In our endeavor to fight crime in the province, we intend working with the security industry to involve young people in protecting our cities and strategic areas. Youth Ranger program, we intend training young people to use drones at our regional airports such as Mkuze, Ulundi, Ladysmith, and Newcastle as a way of monitoring our parks and to help fight poaching of our wildlife animals. Youth in construction, we are fast-tracking the implementation of various provincial road maintenance and upgrade programs which will create at least 45,000 job opportunities. We have identified the empowerment opportunities for our people through localization, particularly in subcontracting, building material supply, and labor. And I'm sure when the MEC for Transport speak and present her budget vote, she will also outline the program that we are aiming to introduce to deal with potholes in KwaZulu-Natal. And that will create many jobs for our localities. Unemployed graduate. We are pleased to announce that the Moses Kotane Institute will employ 1,500 graduates to assist with primary data collection for various researches. We are also working with various municipalities to provide funding for unemployed graduates in the tourism sector. This year, we will fund employment of about 200 graduates across all municipalities, to train as tourism guides. The provincial government has, through the Department of Education, afforded 62,292 as part of the Presidential Employment Initiative. These young men and women are serving as teacher assistants, reading and ICT champions, handymen, and women in our schools. Discussions with provincial treasury and the national government are underway to invest a minimum of 200 million this year to support the youth employment initiative. Our preliminary assessment shows that if we were to invest this amount in various programs, we will create at least 10,000 jobs for the youth during this 2022-2023 budget year. Madam Speaker, KwaZulu-Natal continues to lead in the implementation of the Extended Public Work Program. The sixth administration has to date created 446,283 work opportunities against a 5-year target of 643,268. In the current financial year, the province created 137,337 work opportunities against the target of 128,699. So we surpassed the target. For the next 2 years, KwaZulu-Natal will increase our EPWP target to at least 300,000 so that we will increase the uptake, and we will do so with urgency, but we want to be clear, the management of these opportunities will be upscaled. While job creation initiatives have been successfully implemented, we must admit that there is a need to ensure proper coordination to maximize intake and to come up with training and exit strategies. The Executive Council has resolved that each department, with the exception of the frontline services departments, will prioritize from their own budget and allocate at least 10 million toward job creation to intensify EPWP and other mass employment programs. This is over and above the already existing interventions by individual departments. We need to strengthen coordination as we implement this program to ensure that the risk of corruption and or abuse of state resources is contained. The invasive alien species program demonstrates its impact, and we are working on this to create jobs. So far, we've created 7,725 jobs. We are aiming to increase this to 7,730 for our rural communities. Over the past year, we remodeled poor waste management to stimulate the economy with 1,000 jobs being created through the Presidential Employment Stimulus Package, which allocated 95 million to the province for the implementation of solid innovative waste management program. This pilot program intends to create 4,400 employment opportunities and support 37 SMMEs. Both Reinkonyeni and Msunduze have been sampled to participate in the pilot program from January to March 2022. To date, 3,555 beneficiaries have been recruited and activated, and the 37 SMMEs are also receiving support through the National Department of Culture MISA partnership. Through Zibambele Women Empowerment Program, we've created 41,000 job opportunities. In addition, through the Vukaibambe routine road maintenance program and other capital projects, 5,000 jobs have been created. We are aware that artists have suffered immensely because of the pandemic, and we are responding to this plight. The KwaZulu-Natal Department of Art and Culture implemented Keeping Artists Alive program for cultural and creative practitioners throughout the province. The main purpose of the Keeping Artists Alive program was to give a quick post-COVID-19 recovery to the creative sector. In this regard, the Department of Art and Culture will host the inaugural Coastal Cultural Heritage Experience from the 4th to the 6th of March. It aims to create a unique KwaZulu-Natal experience and to showcase our province's rich diversity and artistic talent that exists. Honorable members, KwaZulu-Natal is forging ahead with the implementation of the Economic Recovery and Transformation Plan to speed up economic growth and social transformation. This plan prioritized sectors such as agriculture, industrial development, health, innovation and manufacturing, clothing and textile, creative industry, informal sector, investment and trade, infrastructure development, tourism, fourth industrial revolution, ICT, innovation and finance. In the aftermath of the deadly July unrest and the COVID-19, we embark on the promotion tour of the province to engage with diplomatic communities to assure them of stability of the province and creating a conducive environment for international investment. As part of economic recovery, we have worked closely with the development finance institutions to assist businesses affected by the July 2021 civil unrest. The milestone achieved by the province so far include the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition through the Critical Infrastructure Recovery Program and working with the Industrial Development Corporation as well as the National Empowerment Fund. Together, they have disbursed 2.57 billion to 140 businesses in KwaZulu-Natal. This program retained about 50,000 jobs. The Department of Small Business Development disbursed 109.7 million rand to 111 beneficiaries involved in small businesses in KwaZulu-Natal. Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal disbursed 9.3 million to 125 businesses and protected 468 jobs. Sastria disbursed 10.3 billion to affected businesses in KwaZulu-Natal out of a total of 27.5 billion of applications received. The KwaZulu-Natal government, working with national government and the DFIs, are implementing a program to de-risk hotspots such as Moy River and some townships around. As at the end of December 2021, the procurement spent by KZN departments was at 26.32 billion. Of this 10.34 billion is on companies from the province. We want to increase the spend as part of effort to use government procurement to drive the radical economic transformation. We are determined to work with all other spheres of government to give comfort to investors and ensure that there are no hotspots and that Moy River is a safe area to invest in. The Mpofana municipality must also benefit from investment in agriculture and agri-hub for agro-processing, as well as the clothing and textile SEZ. Honorable Speaker, for KwaZulu-Natal to realize its goal of being a gateway to the rest of the continent, the overall transport sector needs attention. An integrated road, rail, maritime, and pipeline transportation system is key to drive the economic and social development of the province. We're working to realize the full potential of our two ports and the ocean economy. Easing road congestion is a priority, and the strategic corridors like the N3 are frequently plagued by freight vehicle congestions. Working with Transnet, we will increase moving of cargo from road to rail this year. Rail must be revitalized to ensure that the rail is friendly and cargo is taken off the road. Key infrastructure projects like the link from King Shaka International to Durban and Pietermaritzburg are still in the plan. This project was halted by court challenges, and we hope that the resolution will be found soon. We welcome the return of Qatar Airways and Emirates Airways to Durban, and the recommissioning of South African Airways, which has already bolstered the air transportation and connectivity. AXA continues to be an important and impactful partner in the province. King Shaka International Airport contributes over 1.6 billion in the province's GDP and support over 3,978 jobs. We recently had a fruitful engagement with AXA Company South Africa. AXA has given commitment to partner with us on making the province the preferred tourism destination in our country. Through the Durban Electropolis strategy, the city of eThekwini will become a prime business and trade hub in the sub-Saharan Africa. AXA is committed to leveling the playing field about the passenger and the marketing strategy. This will result in King Shaka International Airport being more accessible to our people from all walks of life. The province has also packaged a number of high-level international and domestic events that will reposition KwaZulu-Natal as the Africa leading conference and event center. Madam Speaker, government has invested in the construction of terminal building at the Mkuze airport to the value of about 72 million, and we have created 215 jobs, and 13 of the 22 subcontractors used during construction were mainly from Umkanyakute district in support of localization and made a direct impact on communities. Now, I want to emphasize one point. It is important kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi sikwazi ukukhanda umnotho usabalale kubantu bonke. And kubalulekile ukuthi inkampani ezinkulu mayithola umsebenzi zibheke abantu neinkampani ezincane ezikhona lapho. Kodwa konke lokho kudinga kwenzeke ngomthetho. Akudingi kube khona abantu abazofika bafuna umsebenzi ngendlovu yangena. And leyo nto ngeke siyimukele noma kuthiwana. But equally, lento yokuthi inkampani ezinkulu zisuke neinkampani ezincane kwezinye indawo zifuna ukuthi uma zi-implemente neinkampani ezincane zazo, lokho ngeke kube kuhle. Ngoba kusho ukuthi unabantu bakho hamba nabo abasephaketheni lakho, unikwa ithuba lokudevelop iMkuze airport, usuka nabantu bakho kude ubaletha eMkuze, nabasemkuze emkhanya kude mababenefit. And that's what we mean by radical economic transformation. We are pleased to note that during the festive season, the Margate Airport recorded an increase in passenger movement from 2,470 passengers in the previous year, which is 2021-2022, to 5,356 passengers for this financial year. This represents a 117% annual increase. In the near term, we will be continuing with the programs of upgrading all our airports, including the Pietermaritzburg, Newcastle, and Richards Bay Airport, to ensure that these assets are fully used to drive tourism in KwaZulu-Natal. Tourism is a critical pillar of the KZN economy. Prior to COVID-19, it used to contribute at least 9.5% to the GDP of this province. We intend to revive this sector. Early this week, we had an opportunity to interact with stakeholders in this strategic industry, where we reach a consensus that we must work together to rebuild this sector. Some of our initiatives to reignite this sector will include intensive marketing of KwaZulu-Natal, support for rural and township tourism organizations, and working with municipalities to improve infrastructure, signage, and connectivity around these areas. We're pleased to announce that after a 2-year break, the Durban July will be back this year with a brand new sponsor, Hollywood Bet. Our prime event include the Comrades Marathon and Amashova cycle race. Africa's travel indaba, which is the continental biggest tourism trade, will be back after a 2-year break. Etia will present more details and intervention that government has put in place to resuscitate this industry during the budget vote that the MEC will present. We are on course to create a new post-apartheid African smart city. 2 of our districts, namely Ugu and Herikwala, are going to be critical players in this historic development. The Executive Council has approved the declaration of the earmarked districts as a regional development spatial framework, which will provide legal framework for planning, land use, budgeting, and development for the area. The rehabilitation of small towns will gain momentum during this year and will drive the revitalization of priority nodes throughout the province. And MEC Hlomuga, MEC for Kokta, will give more details when he presents his budget vote. Already, as part of the small town rehabilitation, corridor development, and the RASET program, a number of projects were completed which support local economic development. We wish to take this House into confidence about the provincial government precinct. As we announced in the previous State of the Province address, we are in a process of finalizing all funding and regulatory requirements for the provincial government precinct to be based here in Pietermaritzburg. The preliminary design concept for the legislature and the archives will be completed by April this year to allow for stakeholder engagement. The concept for the office block is targeted, the concept will be finalized by July. We want to expedite the construction of this government precinct. Madam Speaker, the skewed ownership in the property industry is receiving more attention, and the plan to ensure that this is transformed is already in motion. This plan includes provision of financial backup for African investors. In this regard, the province is forging ahead with the establishment of the state-owned construction company, the Strategic Infrastructure Development Agency, SITA. The SITA will be responsible for the planning and execution of the catalytic projects in the province. The Department of Public Works is tasked to accelerate the establishment and operationalization of SITA before the 30th of June this year. with a phased operational budget and the interim management. We think, honorable members, we've given details on what we've done in the economic front to support big industries, but also to support SMMEs. We've also outlined tangible plans to create jobs. But jobs require skills, it requires the healthy and active communities. Madam Speaker, we're inspired by the matric result class, by the matric class of 2021, which achieved an outstanding 76.8%. The number of matriculants who passed increased from 104,938 to 127,994 in 2021. Importantly, the number of bachelor passes increased from 51,000 to 61,000 in 2021. Now, we produced 61,887 distinctions, which was the highest in the country in 2021. We're proud to report that KwaZulu-Natal, we have achieved a universal access to education. Our main focus now is on the quality of our education system. As the Freedom Charter mandated us, doors of learning and culture shall be open to all. Those doors have been opened today, but we need to move with speed to ensure quality education. The province enhanced performance in key subjects like physical science, mathematics, and other gateway subjects. For the first time in the history of this province since 1994, none of our schools receive a zero pass rate. And we want to thank the department under the stewardship of MEC Mshengu ukuthi ngabikho nje isikolo kuthiwa kuphasanga muntu kuso. Siyafisa ukukubonga. It is indeed true that it takes a village to raise a child. We applaud parents, teachers, principals, businesses, and civil society organizations that are actively involved in improving the education outcome in KwaZulu-Natal. Let us take the opportunity to congratulate the Edendale Technical High School under 16 team who made us proud at the CAF Girls under 16 Pan-African Football Champions held in DRC. The girls narrowly lost to Morocco, and 5 other players from this team have been called to the national under-17 SAFA camp. Thanks for this intervention and support, MEC Mavimbela. Madam Speaker, in all our disagreement as the people of the province, we must never sacrifice the future of our children or gamble with it. When people vandalize or ban school infrastructure because they demand a road or water, they further risk our collective effort by toying with the future of young people. We strongly condemn the locking of schools by some members of the community at the beginning of this year. NgesiZulu sithi ukuzigwaza ngowethu ukwenza kanje. Siyanxusa kuthina sonke siyabaholi nabantu bonke bakwaZulu-Natal ukuthi uma kukhona okusiphethe kabi masikudlulise ngendlela. Masingasuki sishise ezinye izinto okuzothi kungekudala sizidinge. Siyafuna ukugcizelela. Abashisa izikole kudinga bazi ukuthi ngakusasa ingane zabo kudingeka yesikoleni. Ukubona ukuthi lezo ingane ziyavikeleka nekusasa labo abantwana livikeleke. Kunamuhla abashisa ama-malls bayasafarisha not only ngokuswelakala kwamathuba emisebenzi kodwa indawo zokuthenga azisekho eduze. Sekudinga bahambe ibanga elide and siyafisa ukuthi noma sinaziphi izikhalo siziraise lezo zikhalo ngendlela. Yingakho futhi through COCTA sizoqinisa i-crack team ukwenza ukuthi abakhalazayo baphendulwe ngokusheshsha. In spite of budgetary constraint, the Department of Education will this year forge ahead with the completion of schools, including the school for autism. This year, the department has set itself the target of eradicating pit latrines toilets at schools and to ensure that all schools have sanitation infrastructure in line with the Department of Education's norms and standards. The department continues to eliminate barriers to learning and meet the needs of all learners. KwaZulu-Natal now has 76 special schools spread across the province. And in 2021, we launched the state-of-the-art Pholela Special School at Rigwala District at the cost of 220 million. Nabantwana abaphila nokukhubazeka kumbe abantwana abakhubazekile kudinga sibanakekele sibanike imfundo and yikho umnyango ungenelele wenza lokho. Honorable Speaker, KwaZulu-Natal continues its fight to defeat COVID-19. The number of new infections is declining. The figure is now below 500 a day. The current cases are largely driven by the age from 5 to 39. At present, KwaZulu-Natal has vaccinated more than 4.7 million people. KwaZulu-Natal is putting together the building block to achieve universal health care by 2030 through the implementation of the National Health Insurance. As part of the NHI, we are improving and expanding health infrastructure like clinics, hospitals, and enhancing human resource development. As pronounced in the SOPA last year, the opening of the Dr. Pilsik Aseme Memorial Hospital, we can report today that the practical handover is happening in a phases and that services have commenced at the facility. We are focused on the expansion of universal health coverage, preparedness in all 10 districts and the eThekwini Metro. At present, 74.8 clinics obtain ideal clinic status. The ideal clinic status is impacted by the aging infrastructure and poor maintenance of facilities. Going forward, we aim to attain 100% ideal clinic status. We reiterate that our healthcare facilities must meet the ideal standard of being patient-friendly, having adequate medicine, being clean, and opening on time. We applaud the Department of Health for having contracted 10,247 community health care workers into the system. This year, the department has set itself the target of contracting 10,350 community health workers, and we must ensure that this is happening and monitored so that they also perform. We must turn the corner against the collusion and ensure we defeat diseases. This year, we must turn this corner. We must provide leadership, act with agency, and mobilize society together in improving health outcomes. We must focus on attaining the 95-95-95 target for HIV and AIDS. And I must say this, the first 95 is that all people in the district must test for HIV. The second 95 is for those who have tested positive. They must be subjected to medication. The third 95 is for those who are on the medication that the virus must be suppressed. And when we speak about the three 95 targets, we refer to that. Catch-up campaigns for immunization will be a priority. Improving sexual and reproductive health programs tailored to the LGBTQI plus communities. Achieving mental health screening rate of 35%. And we are going to focus on mental health. We know that given the impact of COVID-19, the lockdown, number of people are distressed and living with distress, hence we will be moving on this. But all of these interventions are quite important. But we must continue to encourage all the people of KwaZulu-Natal to embrace the healthy lifestyle by eating healthy, exercising, avoiding smoking and the abuse of drugs and alcohol. Healthy lifestyle must be promoted. We must also escalate the fight against gender-based violence. Gender-based violence is always perpetrated in a main against women, children. And this is the shame, it's a shameful spot on our hard-won freedom and democracy. We honor all citizens, including men, who are standing up against gender-based violence and femicide. The province has approved the 365-day GBV and femicide strategy to eliminate this scourge. Honorable members, since the SOPA last year, we have achieved the following. 165,000 people reached through prevention, education, and awareness programs. And these awareness programs were led by MEC for Social Development, MEC course. GBVF Rapid Response Team have been established in all 11 districts. 2 white door centers of hope were established at Mkuze. Honorable members, we were unable to set up subsistence abuse treatment centers in the Ilembe and Ugu district due to reprioritization of funds to focus on COVID-19. The process has been resuscitated and it is currently at the planning stage. Research recently conducted by the Department of Social Development point to the need to attend to the anger amongst the men. The research look at why they are possible angry and at the need to ensure that these men must undergo public engagement and healing. The title is Kungani abantu besilisa becasukile or bediniwe. The provincial government will strengthen campaigns with civil society such as Sukuma Ndoda Sake and others to encourage dialogue among men and to raise boys to become responsible. We welcome the 3 new pieces of legislation signed in January aimed at strengthening effort to end gender-based violence. The amendment of criminal law for sexual offenses and related matters, the Criminal and Related Matters Amendment Act, and the Domestic Violence Amendment Act. These will assist and help also SAPS in responding to GBVF. Social cohesion and national building remain key and a backbone for a prosperous society. In 2022, we will intensify the implementation of the Provincial Social Cohesion and Moral Regeneration Program with the practical program that promote values of Ubuntu and address racial intolerance and social ills. This program will be complemented by the multi-stakeholder outreach to mobilize community leaders to take charge of promoting peace, safety, and cultural development in their respective areas. The Phoenix massacre is one of the most painful and polarizing episodes in the history of the province since 1994, which we must never allow to repeat. Whilst the prosecution of those allegedly involved is continuing, we are also engaging community in the process of reconciliation and healing through the following: continued engagements and dialogue through peace committees and communities that were affected during the unrest. Unveiling of the Peace of the Phoenix Memorial, school twinning programs, social cohesion through sports and recreation programs, especially between those affected communities, youth development programs that include exchange programs between the two. We therefore believe that we will ensure that these communities reconcile and heal from the past events. We must turn the corner in the fight against crime and build safer communities. The province of KwaZulu-Natal cannot be a home to criminals who terrorize our communities. We hear the pain and cries of the people of KwaZulu-Natal who are confronted by crime daily. We refuse to allow places like Loskop, Richmond, Pietermaritzburg, Inanda, Umlazi, and Petsslayer to be known as the new killing fields of our province. Fighting crime will be the single biggest area of focus this year and beyond. We commend the good work done by law enforcement agencies. Currently, the statistics shows that 17 community crimes have decreased. Concern is that the contact crimes overall are on the rise. Our achievement in the fight against crime since 2021 includes 16 people convicted for private sector corruption and 24 government officials convicted for corruption. And were clear, 24 government officials convicted for corruption. We salute our law enforcement agencies and those patriotic and ethical public servants who are helping to report corruption and crime. You are our heroes. In line with the SONA, in 2022, we will strengthen and, where necessary, re-establish community policing forums. This year, we will hold the KwaZulu-Natal Crime Summit to concretize plan to reduce crime and to eliminate all criminal activities and further mobilize stakeholders in the fight against crime. We are concerned about the number of parolees that are implicated in the crime. We will partner with correctional service in crime prevention effort. We call on law enforcement agencies to pay attention to maverick security companies involved in serious crimes as evidenced during the July unrest and the recent incidents. The crime wave is fueled by illegal weapons and drugs. We will intensify effort to stop the proliferation of illegal firearms, drugs, and fraudulent gun licenses. Our province will embark on a major initiative to reclaim our streets, our towns and villages from armed and dangerous criminals. And the businesses that do not comply with South African laws will be closed. Madam Speaker, provincial government is seized with the task of eliminating the scourge of murder of izinduna, amakhosi, and councillors in the province. Excellent work is being done to crack these cases and bring perpetrators to books. According to the SAPS, at least 42 cases of murder concerning the killing of traditional leaders have been registered by the SAPS since 2012. 25 people have been arrested in relation to 14 of these cases. We also regard the murder of councillors as an attack on our democracy, an attempt to subvert the will of the people. We have faith that the culprits will be found and prosecuted. We welcome the establishment of the new Community Safety Intervention Unit under the Department of Community Safety and Liaison. This unit will work with law enforcement agencies dealing with specific challenges relating to the security situation in communities. We commend the increase in invisible policing at 180 police stations with a serious focus on the high crime stations. We are implementing the KZN safety strategy, the Safer Cities framework, strengthening monitoring and evaluation of police stations and services, and firming up community partnership. To improve school safety, we continue to establish school safety committees and link schools with police stations. We have set specific targets on the reduction of crime against women, children, and human trafficking. The Community Safety and Liaison will continue to monitor the functioning of police and enhance community participation, including through the programs such as Sports Against Crime and the program on rural safety and border control. As the province, we are also concerned about the living standard of farm workers and farm dwellers. We value the right and dignity of all people. It is unfortunate that in various parts of the province, people who live in farming communities are subjected to appalling conditions, and their rights are trampled upon. To address this plight of communities living on the farms, the provincial government established a ministerial subcommittee on land reform and agrarian transformation. And this committee is led by MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, MEC Mloyi. A comprehensive program is being undertaken, which include access to residential and farming land, access to basic services, protection of farm workers' rights, and dealing with tensions and allegations arising from land restitution. We want to affirm ukuthi usizi labantu basemaplazini kungaba abantu baseNomandini noma abantu basenkunzana lolo siza abaphila ngaphansi kwalo angeke sabayekelela. Sihambele silidwa uMEC Mloyi, sihambele zonke lezi ndawo nezinye ebesingakafiki kuzo sibikelwe ngaso. Sizoqinisekisa ukuthi siyadila nezimo abaphila ngaphansi kwazo. Siyabonga ukuthi through lokhu kungenelela kwethu khona abantu ebebengenagesi kulezi ndawo esebeqalile ukukonnectelwa ugesi. But equally, as the provincial government, we stand firm against the killings of farmers that are affecting communities in these areas. This ministerial committee will also engage affected communities and further ensure that police investigate these cases with seriousness. The sixth administration in the province identified water as a pressing challenge facing communities and businesses in this province. We welcome the fact that since 1994, the democratic government has increased access to water for the entire population to over 80% in KwaZulu-Natal. In spite of this remarkable progress, our province is experiencing regression which manifests itself through infrastructure collapse, water leaks, and vandalism. Madam Speaker, in response to these challenges, we have developed and presented the KZN Provincial Water Master Plan as a blueprint to turn the corner out of this challenge. The plan articulates our commitment to building better communities through water delivery that is clean and reliable. It rests on three pillars. 1, resource planning. 2, bulk infrastructure development. 3, distribution planning and sustainability. COGTA is working to build technical capacity in municipalities to ensure proper planning and implementation of water projects and maintenance. This approach includes strengthening the provincial crack team that will delve into specific challenges per area and work with districts to address those challenges. There is a focused plan to address water challenges in Uku and Umkhanyakude through dedicated support from the provincial government, which aims to urgently build capacity, improve specified schemes. In Uku, we've set a plan with timelines that include refurbishment of key critical water works to be completed by June 2022 and others by October 2022. An interministerial committee supported by a strong task team meets weekly as part of the war room on dealing with the issue of water. Ultimately, we expect the district council to play their role in such critical and to draft their own turnaround strategies in respect of water provision to residents all over the province. The Metro, eThekwini Metro, under the leadership of his worship, the mayor, Kaunda, is playing a role and paying particular attention to building its capacity to ensure an uninterrupted provision of water through upgrading their infrastructure. Considerable work to improve water security is underway, as we saw with the delivery of the bulk Umshwati bulk water scheme at the cost of 500 million. We welcome the announcement yesterday by the Minister of Finance in his budget speech that an amount totaling to 830 million is committed to Umngeni Water for implementation of Umkomazi Water Scheme. This project will go a long way in addressing challenges in the water-stressed Uku district. The province will embark on Operation Mbo to intervene in areas with dire needs for service delivery. We will see all departments identifying and following up on projects that will make meaningful impact in the lives of people within a short space of time. Among priority districts will be Umkhanyakude, followed by other districts aimed at delivering projects to address the plight of these communities. A land summit will be held this year to focus on better ways of using the land under our control and that which we have access for economic development purposes. One of the challenges that always reverse our achievements is disaster. Between 2021 November and January 2022, the province was hard hit by devastating storms, strong winds and floods. This led to the Executive Council asking the national government to classify the province as affected by the state of disaster. The department are in the meantime responding through various interventions such as immediate relief and various long-term intervention to fix damaged infrastructure. What is clear is that our province is experiencing effect of climate change. We are prone to deadly lightning, floods, and storms. To mitigate the risk, our government is continuing to install lightning conductors in homesteads and public facilities such as schools, clinics, community halls, and other areas of high impact. We must continue with effort to reduce the carbon footprint, adopt environmental friendly technologies while ensuring a just transition. We must mobilize the people of the province to mitigate the global emergency. Honorable Speaker, building a capable, ethical and developmental state remains a key priority. The National Development Plan envisages a developmental state which does not leave the program of socio-economic transformation in the hands of the free market. It sees a developmental state as being an activist in its approach and to mobilize the whole of the society behind developmental objectives. In the South African context, such a state plays a critical role in addressing the root causes of underdevelopment, poverty, inequality, and unemployment. A capable, ethical, and developmental state is to be understood at two levels. First one, capacity, which is about systems and the infrastructure available to deliver, especially technology, regulations, and others. The second is capability, which is about the know-how, having a workforce that knows how to apply and implement public policy. These are skilled, competent, professional, and diligent public servants. In KwaZulu-Natal, we have a vision of an efficient public service machinery, which is led by able and skilled people appointed on merit, experience, and have passion for development. Day by day, we are building a developmental, capable, ethical, and a caring state that is responsive to the needs of the people. When the MEC for Finance, MEC Dube Ncube, present her budget vote and present the budget of the province, she will attest to the fact that the financial management and accountability is improving in the province, and departments that are getting clean audit are increasing in KwaZulu-Natal. Since the last date of the province address, we can report that a provincial consequence management framework was approved by the Executive Council. The focus is now on implementation. On training of public servants, over 7,000 officials were trained. A skills audit has been conducted on 48,896 municipal officials in the 54 municipalities of the province. A provincial consequence management framework has now been approved and is now being implemented. This next phase will target departments with a high number of unresolved cases. We want also to finalize the improvement and the machinery of the state, and that will also come through alignment of department. Madam Speaker, we are pleased to report that with effect from the 1st of April 2022, the Department of Sports and Recreation and the Department of Art and Culture will be finally merged into a single department to be known as KwaZulu-Natal Department of Sports, Art and Culture. We believe, honorable members, that both local government and communities have a place to play, have a role to play in the development of the province. During the upcoming financial year, we will review service delivery campaign, revive service delivery campaign, aim at refocusing municipalities to prioritize basic services. The stabilization of local government is going to be a focal area. We are rolling out programs to empower councillors to perform oversight over administration as envisaged. We commend eThekwini Metro for being the only municipality to finalize one plan, one budget on time. We urge all other municipalities to conclude theirs with speed. Amongst the campaigns we will undertake, we can mention the Masakane campaign, which will create awareness on the importance of paying for services. This is an area that has been found in the municipal assessment as a major crippling factor to municipalities. We will go all out to encourage people to pay for services. Repair to street light will be a focal area. Clean up and keep all areas clean will be another area of focus. We wish to take this opportunity to call on every person in KwaZulu-Natal to be counted during this census. Census is important. Let us get counted. This will help ensure that the province is allocated a budget that is proportionate to the size of the population. In the last census, KwaZulu-Natal lost a significant chunk of its budget due to the undercounting of our population. We make a special appeal to every member of the legislature to play their role in mobilizing communities and their constituencies to be counted. Poor participation will mean declining revenue and will impact negatively on services. Honorable Speaker and members of this House, we present this state of the province as an account of the work we've done since 2021. And we further outline the key priorities of this year. We are acutely mindful that we are not alone in this struggle for transformation and nation building. We depend entirely on the support of all the people of KwaZulu-Natal and different stakeholders. Thus, I would like to convey words of appreciation to the people of the province for their earnest contribution to this year's State of the Province address. Our social media platforms were inundated with constructive contributions which came from all corners of the province. Other valuable input were received from listeners of community, commercial, and public radio stations. We also received input from various stakeholders who called in and submitted their views. All of these contributions share one perspective, and that is the perspective of growing KwaZulu-Natal together. We appreciate your input, and we are emboldened that we are really at a turning point of our economic recovery and growth, as well as heightened service delivery to the people of KwaZulu-Natal. We thank, and we are saying thanks to the many dedicated public servants who put our people first and serve them with respect and enthusiasm. To my colleagues in the Provincial Executive Council, thank you for always being there as we travel the province in the quest to deliver basic services to the people of KwaZulu-Natal in the midst of many difficulties. We would have not transcended the challenges had we not been united in our resolve not to fail our people. Allow me to pay tribute to our activist legislature and all political parties represented in this House for their patriotism and never failing to hold the Provincial Executive Council accountable. We are thankful and indebted to the Director General of the province, Dr. Mkuze, and all heads of department for their leadership and commitment to the building of an effective, capable, and developmental state. I salute the revolutionary guidance and support always provided to us by our glorious liberation movement of the people of South Africa, the African National Congress. Indeed,
Order.
I salute, Honorable Speaker, I got disrupted. Now may I repeat this line?
Our apologies, Honorable Premier. Honorable members, don't disrupt the Honorable Premier on the podium. You may continue, sir.
Thank you. I salute the revolutionary guidance and support always provided to us by the glorious liberation movement of the people of South Africa, the African National Congress. Indeed, my utmost conviction is that the National Democratic Revolution will triumph. And day by day, we are progressing to achieve a truly united, non-racial, non-sexist, equal and prosperous society. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my family as a whole, especially my better half, Nelsiwe Umazondi. Had it not been for her unwavering support it would have been difficult to participate in the struggle for national liberation. Thank you for always being part and a pillar of my strength. Honorable Speaker, once again, we pledge ourselves as the Executive Council to serve and lead the struggle for the creation of a better life for all. We call on all people to join us as we turn the tide against contemporary challenges that hinders progress. Building on resilience of the people of KwaZulu-Natal, let us turn the corner toward the lasting peace, job creation, and sustainable growth. Let us all turn the tide toward accelerated service delivery so that we reach the turning point of investment growth and economic prosperity for our beloved province. Honorable members, the many ideas and strategies to take our province forward, some are not entirely new. What is new is the energy and vitality. We must now invest in these plans. This is not time to lament, but it is time to act and be decisive. As Ben Oric reminds us, it is our duty. As I quote, a creative participant in the universe to dream our world. The fact of possessing imagination means that everything can be redreamed. Each reality can have its own alternative possibility. Having been human beings are blessed with the necessity of transformation, close quote. That is the necessity we need to transform and to change this province. It is in our hands to create the KwaZulu-Natal of our plans and dreams. At this turning point, we call on all the people of our province to turn their heads to the sun, turn in the direction of the future that beckons so that we may all grow and prosper. Together, growing KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I thank you. Ngiyabonga.
Order. Order. Honorable Premier Mkuze, we thank you for the State of the Province address that you have just delivered. Earlier on, we announced that the photo session will take place now. We're giving the colleagues from the media their 5 minutes to take photos. Niyawazi ke 5 minutes ngowelami watch. Three minutes gone. It's my watch. Thank you. Thank you. I am sure, Mr. Kenam, you are assisting me after I've thanked the colleagues from the media. Thank you. Service officers. Order. I now call upon the Secretary of the Legislature to take us through the announcements.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. All guests must stand and remain standing when the Speaker adjourns the House. While guests remain standing, the procession will exit the chamber, followed by the executive, members of the legislature, and the dignitaries in the chamber. Thereafter, all guests may exit the venue. Due to COVID-19 regulations and in an effort to be compliant, all guests will be provided with a takeaway lunch. Honourable members will take their lunch as they exit the chamber. Guests seated on the right of the House will use the right door to exit and will take their lunch on their way out. Guests seated on the left will use the left door to exit and will take their lunch on their way out. Guests will be assisted by protocol officers to maintain order. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Ndunankulu, leader of government business, the leader of the official opposition, the chief whip, honorable members, Bayet and Ndlunkulu, the honorable guests, our former premiers, and all of you, we are taking this opportunity to thank all of you for being with us today at this sitting of the State of the Province address that was delivered by the Premier, the Honorable Zikalala, for 2022. Now, the House is adjourned until tomorrow, Friday, 25 February, at 10 o'clock for the debate on the SONA.
Order. Madam Speaker. Nawandlu. Nawandlu. Nawezilela tumobala lapho nganamunga. Lapho nganamtholo khona uMahlamvana ulundlende baso mantshonga enoqlemana enzimale emnyama engabende bezingwe nobe ngonyama eqhutshwe ngumseleni benonogalaza bathi ayosika ihlangu emkhwentaba bathi yeke